What's going on, family? I'm Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I want to continue to examine 100 years of World Championship fights. Now, we're in the middle of 1956, but I want to drop back down to Wednesday, October 3rd, 1951. I don't want to leave out a brilliant Australian middleweight, and his name was Davey Sands. He was champions in almost every division from welterweight up. And he would defeat the future world middleweight champion, Hawaii's BoBo Olson, at the Chicago Stadium. The referee was Norm McCarty. Now, Davey Sands had brothers, Richie, Clem, George, Alfie, and Russell. They were all very good fighters, but Davey Sands was the best. He was born February 24th, 1926 in Bernard Bridge. He died August 11th, 1952 in Dargard Hospital due to an overturned truck accident. 1949, Davey Sands had survived his most serious motorcycle accident. His steering had failed, and he rolled into a creek. But he survived that crash. He had a record of 93 total bouts, 87 wins, 10 losses, and 1 draw. Now, Davey Sands and his wife Bessie had their wedding anniversary. Davey Sands' wife Betsy was pregnant, 7 months with their 4th child. And he died 9:45 p.m. And Alfie, who was his brother, he tried to free himself and free Sands from the accident. He was unsuccessful. And the shameful part about not just losing his life, obviously, but he was on the brink of negotiations with Ray Robinson to have a go. And after Ray Robinson would lose to Joey Maxim, New York's Yankee Stadium, 1952. He would lose an opportunity to gain the rights to earn himself a shot with Davey Sands, because he would have picked up the light heavyweight championship of the world. And at that time, Davey Sands was the Australian light heavyweight champion. They were trying to do something that has not been done since 1887. They were trying to unify the light heavyweight championship division. But the first time two men, 2 different countries, would unify a division. Not since Jake Kilrain and Jim Smith. America and England, this has not been done. Dave has a memorial near the Brandon Grave Bridge. And an artist by the name of Robert McCrae had donated a very big painting to his family. The artist Robert McCrae would also create a painting of another brilliant middleweight. His name was Les Darcy. Now, BoBo Olson stood 5'10.5" He weighed 164 pounds, and he had a 70-inch reach. He had 7 years pro experience, 46 wins, 4 losses, and 25 knockouts. As for Davey Sands, he was 25 years old, and he had 10 years experience as a pro. He weighed 164 pounds and had a 68-inch reach and had a record of 81 wins, 9 losses, 47 knockouts. BoBo Olson was 23 years old. But who was BoBo Olson? He was born July 11th, 1928 in Hawaii, Honolulu. He died January 16th, 2002. He was 73 years of age at the time of his death, and he would reside in Hawaii, Honolulu. Fought from 1944 to 1966, had a record of 115 total bouts, 97 wins, 16 losses, 2 draws, and 45 knockouts. He was in the ring with Floyd Marshall. Fought him Monday, May 7th, 1951. Marshall had a record of 70 wins, 24 losses, 4 draws. Stopped him in the 5th round. He also in the ring with fighters such as Wayne Thornton and Jesse Baldry, Johnny Pearso, who he lost to, Archie Moore, he lost to, Ray Robinson, he lost to, Pedro Gonzalez and Kit Gavilan and Garth Panther and Norman Hayes and Jesse Turner, Joey Maxim, Patty Young, Milo Savage. Just an example of some fantastic fighters that BoBo Olson would be in the ring with. So let's take a look at a very good fight between Davey Sands and BoBo Olson, right here on the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series.
1, Chicago Stadium. Dave Sands, British Empire middleweight champion from Australia, meets Hawaii's sensational middleweight contender Carl "BoBo" Olson in a 10-round bout. The winner of tonight's fight is to be matched with middleweight champion Sugar Ray Robinson for the title. Round 1, BoBo Olson in the white trunks.
Now, Davey Sands is to your left with the dark trunks. He's to your right at this point. Carl "BoBo" Olson is to your left.
They're at the same weight tonight, 160 pounds, exactly the middleweight limit. Dave Sands in the black trunks is regarded as one of the greatest fighters ever developed in Australia. Some old-timers say he's as good as Les Darcy, who came out of Australia way back in 1915 to thrill the boxing world.
Now, Dave Sands was a phenomenal fighter, one of the greatest, in my opinion. Very underrated. Along with Charlie Burley. Look at that beautiful boxing technique. A lot of people avoided Davey Sands. They actually did. My grandfather used to tell me stories about when they were waiting for Ray Robinson to face Davey Sands. Now, they were going to get it on before unfortunate death of Davey Sands. Ray Robinson would lose his title. Well, actually, he would lose the light heavyweight championship opportunity against Joey Maxim in New York's Yankee Stadium at the fight there. But that blew an opportunity for these two to try to market a light heavyweight tournament, and they were trying to unify it. That's just some inside information that was discussed during that time. But Davey Sands, brilliant. See that left hook thrown by Carl "BoBo" Olson to Davey Sands, but Davey Sands doesn't stop punching. And it reminds me a lot of Tony Canzoneri and how he bounces around with his hands down low, but at the same time, you can see a lot of, beautiful punch under the heart by Davey Sands. A lot of Charlie Burley in him as well. Oh, nice body punch. He threw a right to the body and left hook to the head to Davey Sands. Nice combination.
The end of round 1. Scores repeatedly with his fine boxing and counterpunching. Now round 5 of the 10-round bout between Dave Sands, the British Empire middleweight champion from Australia, and Carl "BoBo" Olson, the Hawaiian champion from Honolulu. Olson in the white trunks.
Two very good boxers. Carl "BoBo" Olson and Davey Sands. Now, Davey Sands would defeat Carl "BoBo" Olson twice. They fought twice. Olson had a hard time with boxers. That's why he couldn't defeat Ray Robinson. He did take Kid Gavilan to school a little bit there, but Gavilan was a smaller man. And Olson would move up from middleweight to light heavyweight. He was a big middleweight. It was called BoBo Olson. The thing I like about Davey Sands, he's a two-fisted fighter. Those punches with both hands. And his fundamentals are very, very fine-tuned. Very graceful in the ring, as you can see. Nice right hand.
This is the second meeting between Olson and Sands. The last fight was in March 1950 at Sydney, Australia.
Now, Sands had 4 other brothers, and none of them was Sands. They changed that name in their boxing career. Oh man, beautiful. I'll tell you, Carl "BoBo" Olson is a very underrated fighter. He really is. Oh, good hook by Olson. Slammed Sands up against the ropes. Oh, beautiful combinations both men are throwing. These are two well-schooled fighters.
Round
Nice punch under the heart once again thrown by Davey Sands. Once again, Sands is in the black. Olson's in the white shorts. Oh boy, nice. Sands fought from welterweight to the heavyweight division. He was actually lighter than that. He actually fought in the lightweight division. Oh, beautiful right hand thrown by BoBo Olson. When he was in the amateurs, Davey Sands. See, Sands throws brilliant body punches. Well technical. Beautiful technique. Wednesday, September 21st, 1955. The World Heavyweight Champion Brockton Blockbuster Rocky Marciano stops the old mongoose. His name was Archie Moore. 1 minute and 19 seconds of the ninth round that was scheduled for 15. Referee Harry Kessler would count out the old mongoose. 61,574 spectators invested $820,935.20. The promoter would gross $948,117,095. Now, the television networks would earn $101,225 into the television rights. And it was invested because they felt as though Rocky Marciano would really bring a tremendous amount of revenue to the gate. Little would they know that Rocky Marciano would retire after this fight. He would injure his back, but he also saw the landscape. Ranked number 2, you had Tommy Hurricane Jackson, and he would eventually move to rank number 1. Bob Baker was ranked number 2. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Marciano was 32 years old. He stood 5 foot 10 and a half inches. He weighed 181 pounds and he had a 68-inch reach. He was 48-0 with 42 knockouts. And he would earn $482,374 for this fight. He was 8 years as a pro. He was a 4-1 favorite. Archie Moore, 38 years old. He stood 5 foot 11 inches. He weighed 188 pounds. He had a 75-inch reach. He had a record of 149 wins, 19 losses, 8 draws, 108 knockouts, and he was 19 years as a pro. He earned $241,187 for that fight. Rocky Marciano would lose a match March 1st, 1948. New York Golden Glove tournament to Coley Wallace. But he would win March 22nd, 1948, New England's AAU Heavyweight Championship competition. Now, Rocky Marciano would become the world heavyweight champion when he would knock out Jersey Joe Walcott. 1952. You see him here with Harry Kid Matthews. Let's take a look at a match between Jersey Joe Walcott. Rocky Marciano. We already saw Jersey Joe Walcott and Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano and Archie Moore. Let's take a look at that fight. Archie Moore was some fighter. He was a veteran. He would defeat BoBo Olson. Tried to challenge him for the light heavyweight championship belt. He would stop him. He would take on the Brockton blockbuster, Rocky Marciano. Be a bit too much for The Rock. Because Rock didn't want to do what he had to do to Archie Moore. But he would take out a few legends. Joe Louis in 1950, New York's Madison Square Garden, 8 rounds. Eddie Charles twice in 54. Jersey Joe Walcott in 52. Now the great Archie Moore, 1955. Let's take a look at the fight between Archie Moore and Rocky Marciano. Shout out to these great fighters.
going backwards all the time. A very big advantage for me. I am tiring the veteran out. Keeping very low, you'll notice. In a heavyweight match such as this, one good punch can turn the tide. Archie's boxing here, just jabbing and countering, really putting on no great pressure of his own, going backwards all the time. Slow motion. I want you to notice the good right hand that comes over his left hook.
Right hand by Archie Moore.
There's the hook, and there's the right hand that came right over it, hitting him in a vital spot. If I had put more power into this punch, it may have been a different story. This was it.
Rocky Marciano was some puncher, I'll tell you. But Archie Moore has seen his younger days.
I would retire after this fight.
But all credit due to Rocky Marciano.
I put the pressure on. I smelled victory, and I opened up with both barrels.
My God, Rocky Marciano was a tank. Look at the heart and will of Archie Moore, all-time great. This is how you have to go out.
Archie tried to make it. Gallant warrior that he is, but just couldn't.
Oh my God.
The fighter went down. Boy, am I glad this fight was over.
Rocky Marciano had a lot of class. Archie Moore, greatest light heavyweight champion in boxing, no question about it.
The time, 1 minute, 19 seconds of the 9th round. Winner.
Two great fighters.
Knockout, and still heavyweight champion of the world, Rocky Marciano.
Protect yourself at all.
Now I wanted to go back to the first two rounds of this fight.
Rule is voided tonight.
Archie Moore
Second,
and Rocky Marciano.
out too. If the man goes down, the man standing up goes to the farthest neutral corner and stays there till I wave him back. He doesn't have to wait for 8 seconds. And when the man gets up and I get his gloves brushed, well, you come back. Okay, keep your punches high. Nice fight.
Well, we're ready for the question. The 3 knockdown thing is a New York rule, voided, as the referee told you. Normally in New York, a man knocked down 3 times in a round is beaten. Not tonight, and there's no compulsory 8 count. He doesn't have to take 8, he can get up at 2 or 1. If that explains that to you any better. We're waiting for the bell for round 1. The boys are jiggling in their corners. The crowd is roaring. The bell. Here they go.
And when that rule came out, the 3 knockdown rule, that shocked everyone. But it was waived in his fight. Now you can see Archie Moore is pacing himself against Rocky Marciano. What he wants Rocky Marciano to do, from my understanding, is to punch himself out. That's a mistake because he's a smaller man. But Marciano is a banger. He bangs you in your arms, he breaks your blood vessels, and he works his way up, as Julio Cesar Chavez would later on do, years later. But Archie Moore was a technician. He knew exactly what was happening in that ring. He knew what time it was. He knew how your body was reacting. And you're going to see in a moment a beautiful knockdown that Rocky Marciano would suffer from against Archie Moore.
2 minutes until the end of the first round.
And you can see Archie Moore pulling away from punches, which causes Rocky Marciano to fall off balance after he throws punches.
Minute till the end of the round. Not too much has happened. Ten seconds.
Oh, beautiful punch. Beautifully timed punch. It's what I wanted you to see. Archie Moore.
The count was 4.
Great fighter.
As it stands now,
Rocky Marciano
Moore is the aggressor
and Archie Moore.
that was a great round.
Two great fighters. We get it on 1955. And that would end the year for 1955 for Rocky Marciano. He would retire officially in 1956. This would be his last fight with Archie Moore. Man, I tell you, Archie Moore was a hell of a fighter, man. Rocky Marciano with some punches, some banger. Phenomenal fighters. All right, Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Salute. Let's move on to 1956. We'll do one more. We'll do Ray Robinson and BoBo Olson. 1955. Here you have Johnny Addy to your right. He's the ring announcer. Rocky Marciano. Next to Johnny Addy. Next to Rocky Marciano, you have Archie Moore. You have Ow Wow, who's the manager.
Till the end of the round. Good right hand by Marciano.